Happy New Year! Oh my gosh, happy 2025. I can't believe it's already the next year and December went by way too fast. But we are in January, so that means we have my December favorites. All right, so this month I feel like you guys know all of these brands. There isn't really a new matcha, but they are different blends of some of my favorite matchas of all time. So I want to start with this one I'm drinking, and you may be wondering why the color is maybe not the best, but it's actually a decaf matcha. Isn't that so cool? This is by the brand matcha.com, which is, you guys know, is one of my top matcha powders. I love them so much, and their matcha is seriously such a good quality. And they recently came out with their own decaf matcha. And I think this is so cool because if you are caffeine sensitive and you can't handle like regular matcha powder, this is a great alternative because it still tastes like matcha, but there's no caffeine in it. And the cool thing about this too is on the this tin, it says that they take out the caffeine, but they still preserve the flavor, antioxidants, and the L-theanine, which are great benefits in matcha powder itself. So I think that's just so cool that they were able to still keep those benefits of the matcha, but take out the caffeine. And I will say it's not as good tasting wise as their other matcha powders or like matcha powders in general, but I will also say that I think it's okay because considering the different process that this matcha powder specifically has to go through in order for the caffeine to be removed, I feel like it's kind of expected that it won't taste exactly like regular matcha powders. So this one itself was a bit more bitter and astringent, but again, I feel like I've tried matcha powders too where it was like the same level of bitterness and astringency. So I think considering that this itself has gone through a different process than like a normal matcha powder and still taste similar, you know, like to it, considering all those things like of the decaffeination process that this powder went through, it is more astringent, it is more bitter, it does have more of those notes present and not really like anything else, but it does taste like matcha. So I would think like it's maybe similar to like a lower quality grade of matcha, but again, I think you can consider the process wasn't the same as like a normal matcha powder, so of course there's gonna be a bit of differences comparing the two. But again, if you can't handle caffeine, great substitution. Okay, and then next up we have ippodo, another favorite of mine, and this is their new year blend that they came out with. This is the Mino Mukashi blend, and they come out with seasonal matcha powders, which I think is really cool about ippodo because they have like autumn one, they have spring one, they have this new year one that they come out with. So it's really fun to see like their brand come out with different types of blends like throughout the seasons because I'm always excited to try them. But this one is so good. And the thing about ippodo tea, I think they do umami notes really well. So this one is another umami one. It's more, I wouldn't say like overpowering, but it still has a really nice umami note to it, as well as some sweetness and a little bit of like toastiness, like a hint of it in it. But again, it's so sweet and creamy and umami and so well-rounded. And again, the quality is top tier, amazing, and I really went through this entire thing so fast. So, as I said before in my other videos, whenever ippodo comes out with a seasonal matcha, you need to buy it and you need to try it because it is always so good. And next up, we have Little Match Studio, another favorite of mine. They came out with this sahohime blend, and this is another one for you umami lovers. This is the blend you need to try. This one is, I think it's umami but not sweet umami. So the ippodo one was kind of sweet. This one is like a creamy umami without like the sweetness to it. So if you're not really particularly like craving something sweet necessarily, but you really want something creamy and umami, this sahohime blend is exactly that. And I love it because I really enjoy like creamy umami matchas when I taste it in the powders itself. So this one definitely had that. It was very bold in that. And what I love about this too is very buttery. Like it is, that's like one word I can describe it. It is very buttery. 2 words, very buttery. And that's also what I experienced with her normal like okumidori blend that she has. This one, buttery. Buttery, buttery, buttery. And even more so because of the umami creamy notes that it has. So it just makes the entire experience very buttery. Very. So I really enjoyed this one. Another great quality. And lastly, for this month, we have a hojicha, and this one is by Nami Matcha. So again, another brand that I've already tried, but they came out with their own hojicha powder, and similar to what their matcha powder is and how I reviewed that, I said that their matcha powder is, I would say, is more of like a beginner-friendly matcha. It's the same with this hojicha, and I really appreciate about that because I think beginner-friendly like matchas and hojichas are perfect for like everybody. Whether you are a beginner or more of an advanced drinker, I think you can appreciate the hojicha and the matcha powder from Nami Matcha. So it's really like you don't have to be like advanced to enjoy it, because I know sometimes there's like certain powders that I think if you are a beginner and you try it, it's hard for you to like enjoy it because you're not really like acclimated to the taste necessarily. So the same goes for this hojicha powder. This one is definitely more lighter. It's not as bold as some other hojichas I've tried. So it's just another really good, well-rounded, balanced hojicha powder. So if you are starting out in hojicha, this is another one that you can consider buying. And even the matcha, I think you could buy it like as a duo because they're both beginner friendly. So if you were thinking about, you know, trying matcha for the first time or hojicha, you can also do it at the same time because both of her matcha and hojicha are very beginner friendly. So this is another good one. I really like it too sometimes when I just prefer a lighter hojicha and not something super bold and rich. And that brings me to the end of my favorites of December. I hope you guys enjoyed, and Happy New Year again. I'm super excited because I have a couple of brands that I've found that I'm excited to try in the new year. So stay tuned for my January, February favorites because I feel like there will be some newer brands in the mix. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting me throughout this past year. It's been so amazing to grow our little matcha community, and I'm really thankful for you guys in just engaging and suggestions and everything else. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!